नमस्कार, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। नेचर बॉडीज, भारत माता स्कूल, बिलासपुर, आपने मुझे आमंत्रण दिया कि मैं अपनी बात कह सकूं ऑन आवर सॉल्यूशंस आर इन नेचर। और आज बायोडाइवर्सिटी डे है और उसकी आप सबको बहुत बहुत मुबारक। आज 5 जून 1992 में भारत ने बायोलॉजिकल डाइवर्सिटी के ऊपर साइन किया था, हस्ताक्षर किया था और मेंबर बने थे। तो मैं आज आपके सामने कुछ स्लाइड्स रखना चाहता हूँ। आवर सॉल्यूशंस आर इन नेचर, वी हैव टू प्रोटेक्ट द नेचर because nature is bountiful and gives us so many things which we otherwise will be deprived, and our coming generations will really be very upset that what our fathers gave to us. So now I want to talk to you. Biodiversity has value. Biodiversity encompasses variety of life on earth. It includes diversity in species, in genetic diversity, in ecosystems. Biodiversity has direct value in food, agriculture, medicine and industry. Many of the plant species are used to make your local medicines. We thrived on the local medicines over the years and ages in India, and they are still being practiced. मेरी दादी कहती होती थी कि बेटा हल्दी का दूध रात को पी के सो, आपको दिन में कोई दिक्कत नहीं होगी। Biodiversity maintains ecological balance. It continues evolutionary processes. It gives you great aesthetic and recreational value. मैं आज आपके सामने बात कर रहा हूँ। I'm going Hindi and English both. मेरा दिल कर रहा है कि I will put a plant near to myself while I'm talking to you. Let me go to the next slide. I also want to share that UNEP, United Nations Environment Program, in 1995 did a biodiversity assessment. आप लोग को हैरानी होगी, we have more than 13 to 14 million species, and you would be really more surprised when I will say that only 1.7 million species described so far and are only identified. Many of them are still to be identified. So dear friends, we have a big job to go, and we have to protect all what has been identified. And that is the richness at the global level when I'm talking. This is not at India level, these figures are global level. Next. So now I want to talk to you about India's richness in biodiversity. India is a mega biodiverse country. What we mean by mega diverse country? We mean that it has hotspots in it. And I'll tell you, 2.4% of the land area, India accounts, I'm talking at global level, India is only 2.4% of land area, and India accounts for 7 to 8% of the recorded biodiversity species. 45,000 species of plant, 91,000 species of animals in India are recorded so far. This must have gone, this might be an old number, but India has a diversity of ecosystems like forests, grasslands, wetlands, mangroves, coral reefs, desert. No country has such mega biodiversity as we in India have, and we have to protect this, take care of this. So now I want to talk to you about the India's biodiversity hotspot. Out of the 34 in the world, we have 4: Eastern Himalaya, Indo-Burma, Western Ghats, and that is what makes us a mega biodiverse country. These hotspots support about 60% of the species, and therefore they are highly endemic to the space where they are. That means they are very much endeavored there only. So we have to make sure that they are conserved there. India has a rich traditional knowledge associated with biological resources. We have many patents there. I remember how India got the patent in neem and in ginger and also in turmeric. So TK both coded in text in Indian systems of medicine. Traditional knowledge is coded very strongly in our Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha, and that is why we have established under the Ministry of Health a very strong body called Ayush. And next I would like to share with you that how nature and the character of the CBD, the Conference of Parties for Biodiversity, a framework of agreement within the countries worldwide, were brought in with overall goals and policies, and it leaves for the implementation of the provisions in the respective countries by the individual parties, which are the country parties. So focus on implementation is on National Action Plan. India has a National Biodiversity Action Plan. I would like to focus more on what your topic of the day is. And I will not focus much on the CBD side, but India, whenever we are doing the conservation, we should have a community biodiversity resource centers created there. It is the local communities who should come forward and create those biodiversity resource centers. How they will create it? We need to ensure that there is a broad-based participation. We create the germplasm, seed banks. I have worked in such projects, and Bharat Mata School is one of the examples for that. I have worked in projects in Sundarbans and in West Bengal, where in a village they had made a seed bank and they had collected all different types of the rice varieties which are growing in it. I was in another project in Chhattisgarh itself, in Kondagaon, where one of the farmer sarpanches has created beautiful seed banks of the local germplasm, and he was given the best award also nationally. There is another one example which I can say of Google, which a person is creating these seed banks of Google, which is a repository of very strong local medicines. There is another partner who is based in Satna in the state of Madhya Pradesh, where he is doing a beautiful seed bank on the traditional varieties of rice and jowar, and that person has also been given a national award. So we should really promote to take care of these varieties which are taking care of various elements which we need in our body. For particularly lactating mother, there is a different type of a variety which gives them more iron, and that is the real biodiversity which we need to create. I was sometimes also talking to my colleagues in Bharat Mata School, where they created in urban spaces, green spaces, and they created sparrow houses, and also for the bees. Today we are coming up modernizing the system. Where are we creating spaces for these little birds and these bees and these domestic pets also? There are less promotion of the localized species of the country. Therefore, we have to give more emphasis to promote localized species. That is where the sustainable livelihoods is built. Every time the neem is falling on the earth, we are all eating it, and it gives us resistance against all sorts of. It really, today is the need. Neem produces and gives us resistance against all sorts of these viruses and bacteria. It's a natural promoter, which we are not having. No child wants to eat neem today. We don't even want to touch the neem within our system. Naturally, our immunity levels have fallen, and we have fallen prey to the world viruses, which today we are going through the pandemic called COVID-19. So I want to say, I already said to you earlier that on 5th June 1992, India signed the Convention on Biological Diversity in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, and 10 years later, India created the National Biodiversity Act and enacted in 2002. And this is in order to really conserve these local species, which I was saying, manage the sustainable use, equitable and fair distribution of sharing benefits. India is strongly promoting that outsiders may not come and take, and local people do not get any benefit. So there is this equitable sharing of benefits has been made into a law, and the Ministry of Environment and Forest and Climate Change notified it in 2004 under the biodiversity rules. And these access to benefit sharing and the National Biodiversity Act all are giving these strong handles in the hands of local people and children like you. I really want to emphasize this is the cornerstone of our country for conserving biodiversity. I also want to make some observations on the loss of biodiversity and these epidemics and pandemics which we are having. Scientists say there is a biological dilution effect in which declining biodiversity results in increased infectious disease transmissions. Scientists have observed there is a clear link between decrease in disease frequency and increase in host diversity. I also want to quote one example that in 2090, the Indian Journal for Community Medicine, Patil's group attributed to an outbreak of anthrax in Chhattisgarh state to the loss of biodiversity. So we have to go ahead and use these local species of Indian traditions, banyan tree, Indian neem, Indian tree. We, in every locality, every place, we should have these sort of trees which promote the local bird species nesting and promote the local conservation. I also want to say a few words about what the recommendations of the Ministry of Ayush. We in Delhi and in other states, I've had a chance to work on this through the UNDP and the Center for Environment Education programs, where we enhanced promoting medicinal plant gardens in schools in India, and particularly in Delhi. And Bharat Mata School, who is a member today to us and has given me this opportunity to speak before you, is one of the inspirational factors of my life. And these students, Panu Haldar, their teacher, and students like Uttam, they are really the richness of this country. They have always taught me, sir, don't drink water while you are standing. Sir, drink warm water throughout. The oil that you are eating, it will dissipate it. Sir, daily practice yoga. Sir, eat the haldi water, jeera with cumins, with dhania, with corianders, with garlic. And believe me or not, I every day bring that glass of water lying on my table. I every day, in the last 20 years, I take local turmeric water with the cumin seeds in it. Please, I would request all of us, don't lose the tips of our dadi. Please take amla, take them, black pepper, take dry ginger, take raisins. All these things were the natural forms of our life, which we are now losing out. So I will start closing my presentation. The vital part of our ecosystem are bees. They are pollinators and are vital part of our ecosystem, responsible for food security, not just in humans, but in all living forms. They promote a great pollination factory. The government needs to be lauded for the attention they have paid for the beekeeping. I know, I have worked with the government for beekeeping. There is a national program under the Ministry of Agriculture, and that program is proliferating in all states of the country. And honey is a natural source which in India we are taking. This became very relevant in the context of pollinators, which is sometimes declining in many other countries. So honey practices of how the honey hunting is done, we should not use unsustainable practices. So I want to take one more minute and give you an example of Bhuvan Pal Singh, who can barely read and write, but he's from our state of Chhattisgarh in the Katkara Forest Reserve, and he's a traditional healer. Bhuvan treats his patients with medicinal plants only. I know Nirmal Avasthi, who is another big traditional healer. He has a set of more than 1,000 healers in the country. His passion is, yesterday I was talking with, he was telling me, sir, I'm going to plant 25 lakh plants this time. And out of that, large of them are on medicinal plants. I'm going to plant ashwagandha, I'm going to plant neem, I'm going to plant this. So what I'm trying to tell you is that we should protect our natural forests. They give you the sources for this health care. An estimated 10% of India's flora and fauna are on the listed threatened species. We have to take care. Let me go to the next. This is what I drink every day. This is raw haldi with cumins in it and with black pepper. So another tuber man, Shaji, is also in Kerala in Wayanad district, which is a repository for a great work which has been done on the tubers. And I have been to his place. I have seen all that. Different yams, a big rich source of carbohydrates. Today we are losing out. The children are more interested in pizzas and pastas rather than having these tubers. In the bargain, they are losing their livelihoods because they are not cultivating them, which was natural, endemic to that area. But anyhow, this is what we will learn. The National Green Tribunal has given permission to really see that all the things which are done in development world do not spoil the endangered species or do not spoil the biodiversity. They have given many examples to it. I think you have a very good day. You enjoy your life and grow into a great conservator for making this world and India grow much better for the generations to come. Thank you.